once again, people. It is Dan Alborn, Jackie Cockle, and it is the Appleton REIA podcast.
Hello, how you doing today?
Hola, doing well. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood, and today we're going to talk about something that everyone loves, the old greenback. Money
And pockets.
Yeah. How do you keep more of that stuff in your pockets versus the outgo? Because if you're running a business where you have more outgo than income...
That's not a business, that's a hobby.
Yeah, and you can hear people say, oh, dude, I did 100 deals last month. Well, how much did it cost you to have 100 deals? We're going to talk a little bit about that today, and really how you can keep more of that in your own pocket. And it may even surprise you, because where we're going to go today is going to talk a little bit about the financial piece of your business and how you really can keep more of that. But, so let's talk about this, Jackie. You and I were talking earlier. I know this happened to you. It's happened to me numerous times.
Oh, boy.
There's multiple people that are offering on a property. You don't get the deal, right? And you're like, I don't know how they bought it at that and they're going to make any money.
Seriously, how are they going to make any money on that? Doesn't even make sense.
Right.
But maybe they had a different goal.
Well, right. I mean, a lot of times us as investors, our main strategy is to either flip it, to rehab it, right? Or to perhaps wholesale it, maybe as a rental. Well, maybe there's some other things we didn't think about that this person is using this as a strategy. The acquisition is a strategy to help them financially keep more of their money. And that's really what we're going to talk about, because at the end of the day, it's all about the net profit you make, not necessarily the number of deals. And I think, Jack, you and I live that. It's never been having more deals than anyone else. It's having really good deals that can serve us and maximize our profit.
Right. I want to make as much money as I make, but I want to work fewer hours and have less deals, but still have the same amount of money in my pocket. So how can I do that? You know the old adage, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And so if you're keeping more, maybe you get to work a little less. Who knows?
Right.
That's the goal.
Right, and sometimes what sucks, because this is not the most sexy part of the business, but it is the most financially rewarding, it's having
super important
good records. I mean, how are you maintaining your records, and how are you tracking the things you're doing, from your expenses to how you're getting income? Are you seeing peaks and valleys of what's really eating at your business? Because if you have stuff that's eroding at your bottom line and you're paying out all this outgo for marketing and all these things and stuff that are great in and of themselves, but are you really getting a good rate of return on it?
Well, and you need to know what those things are.
Right.
And if your idea of bookkeeping is a box full of receipts that you bring out on April 14th, that's bad. You know, you got to know, like, what marketing am I doing? How much is it costing me? What return am I getting on it? So what is my actual cost per lead? And like you said, that's not sexy. It's not fun. It's a little boring. But, you know, and when it comes to bookkeeping, if that's not your strong suit, by God, you know, find a way to delegate that and get a bookkeeper, or have a system and learn something like a QuickBooks or some system and have somebody set it up where it's specific to your business, right? So you know what category, and you can monitor your P&L. Yeah,
because specifically with real estate and with what we do things a little bit differently than a standard business. So if you don't have someone on your team who understands that and the benefits of doing it that way, you could be at a real disadvantage. I mean, the other element, I think, talking about what you're talking about earlier, Jackie, of having the box of receipts is you can't plan for taxes on April 14th.
Nope.
Or, you know, this year they got pushed back because of COVID. But you can't wait to the very last moment to be like, okay, well, what are my taxes going to be? You need to be having some ongoing, thoughtful, decision-making strategies in your acquisitions as you go throughout the year, knowing how it's going to affect you financially. And a lot of it comes back down to the tax laws.
Well, and honestly, we have a meeting with our accountant every year around October, November, just to make, like, those last-minute plans, like, okay, what does it look like? What has our year been in the first 3 quarters? What's it looking like the fourth quarter is going to end up? What do we need to do to get ourselves either, you know, if we're on a bubble and we can backpedal something into, like, the backer, you know, lower tax bracket or something by making a big purchase, or buying one of those rental properties, maybe that doesn't look like a good deal, but because of the way it impacts our taxes, it actually is beneficial to us. So really having that wonderful accountant that you can bounce back and forth. And keep in mind, if you're a wholesaler, if you're a rehabber, or if you're a landlord, it looks different for each of those. If you do your own work versus hiring it out, it looks different for each of those. Because if you do your own work, you're also buying tools, maybe some equipment, trailers. All of those things are depreciated differently than, the sink and the faucet that you put into the property. So knowing all these things ahead of time helps you make some of those decisions as you go out throughout the year, and that final fourth quarter planning. Right. I mean, one year I bought a car on December 31st because my accountant was like, you need one more thing. And I was like, well, I'm going to buy a car in the next, quarter. And he's like, nope, buy it before the end of the year. I'm like, but it's already December 30th. So yeah, I wasted the 31st sitting in a dealership, but it made a huge impact on our taxes, and I would not have known that without having that planning. So, but it all starts with bookkeeping, getting a good system and understanding how to work that system.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of great tools out there. I mean, I know a lot of investors use the old QuickBooks. There's different platforms. There's the standalone, physical version you can install on your computer. There's an online version which gives you a lot of flexibility from taking pictures of your receipts. I mean, that's one of the biggest things is having that box of receipts, right? What's cool is some of these tools, man, you can actually push a button, take a picture on your phone, tell it exactly what category it should be under. It already files it for you, or you can put it in a bucket if you have a bookkeeper, and then they go through and just validate to make sure everything goes where it needs to go. And that's where having someone on your team helping you with this maximize it, because the last thing you want to do is really analyze all your receipts with a week or two before you have to get your taxes done. Talk about just a logistic nightmare and pulling your hair out and going insane. That's not a way to run your business.
And it's not a good time to realize that you forgot to do something that would have benefited your tax, your bottom line.
Right.
So, sometimes it's funny. I hear people say, I don't want to pay for that advice. And my response to that is, you pay regardless if you get good advice or no advice or bad advice, because not going out to talk with the professionals and pay them for their knowledge, you are paying. You're just, it's in lost dollars. It's in money that did not stay in your pocket. You made it, but you didn't get to keep it. Uncle Sam got it.
Right. Absolutely. And early on, if this is all new to you, or even if, I shouldn't even say this, sometimes this can be more beneficial for some of those old veterans who've been just doing it their own way and have a piece of paper ledger that they keep track of this, and they don't want to switch to kind of getting themselves more up to date and maximizing this. You're really losing money by not becoming more streamlined in your record keeping, because at the end of the day, if you don't know the tax benefits of something, you're really doing yourself a disservice, and you're working harder for more work and less profit at the end of the day. So like Jackie talked about, paying someone early on, even if it's just on the front side, having regular conversations with them month in, month out, every purchase you make. Hey, I need to talk to you about this. How is this going to affect me financially? What are the long-term benefits of this? So you can make an educated decision on how to really acquire something, or if you need to sell something. It really allows you to pivot your business more efficiently and make sure that you're doing things that aren't hindering you.
Right, and sometimes it's even, how do I buy this? How do I hold it? How do I take possession?
Right.
When and how do I get rid of it? Because at some point, even these rentals, like some of these people that are, they've owned the same rental properties for 50 years, and now they're aging out and finding. I'm like, holy cow! They left a lot on the table, because those things became a lack of a tax benefit a long time ago, right? And they could have been playing the game of Monopoly, right? The 4 greenhouses for the One Red Hotel, and they just didn't have someone letting them know that it was time to turn that asset, because it would have been beneficial financially, even at the same amount of rent, but putting it to a different property could make a difference. And again, you don't know that without having quality advice. I mean, many of us have paid for mentors in so many different parts, especially in real estate. We pay for a lot of great coaching and mentoring and hand-holding, fill in the blank. But when it comes to bringing a financial professional or tax planner or bookkeeper, It's like the one thing where we throw our hands up and say, no, I'm not ready for that.
Right.
And really, we should be ready from day one to just get that quality advice.
I would agree, Jackie. And sometimes people are so hesitant because they don't want people to see their books, or they're afraid that they're going to point out something that they're wrong. No, the reality is they're there to actually see the opportunities. And if you have a good accountant, bookkeeper, attorney that does some of that stuff, sometimes you have those people that kind of do that all in one thing. They can really give you a huge advantage of like, listen, you're doing this well, but here's some opportunities where we want to protect you more, or some advantage that you can keep. Again, it's keeping more of that money in your own pocket. Why continue to stroke those checks to Uncle Sam? That's just silly, right?
Right. Yeah, I know. My accountant pointed out, we self-insure for health insurance, and he pointed out how not using an HSA, using a tool, right? Putting the same dollars out to the medical field.
Right.
The HSA is deductible. Just paying the bills when a medical issue arises, you can only deduct. First, you have to spend 7% of your income, and then everything over that is deductible at a specific rate, whatever it is. But the HSA is deductible from $1.
Right.
And so just pointing out that, hey, there's a tool and you should use it is obviously just a really good, again, having that advice, and also realizing that tax laws change every year.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of times things that are coming into play, like last year with the new self-employment stuff that Trump passed, I mean, huge benefits to us, but understanding the ways that we need to tweak what we're already making so that we can keep more.
Yep.
Again, keeping more in our pockets.
Right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to pay these people. Don't be afraid to go out and talk to these people. I know you've never done it that way, and maybe you're hesitant, and maybe your bookkeeping sucks. It's okay to suck up your pride and be like, listen, okay, I know I need to be better. Because you're only going to be you're only holding yourself back by not doing this. So whether you're day one in real estate investing or 30 years in and you have, 100 properties, you got to make that first step and do the right thing and bring these people on, because it's going to pay you long-term benefits. Your return on the investment that you're paying for an accountant or an attorney or a bookkeeper,
right?
You're gonna thank them later, like, wow. And it's getting the right person in place. And if you don't know of someone, talk to other investors, because I'm sure they may have
quality referral.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a reason why they are, like, okay, who do you use and why do you like them? What do they do for you? Because, don't be afraid to interview. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions, because they shouldn't just get your business because they work for some big firm,
right?
Or they have a big name, or because 3 other investors use them. Like, don't be afraid to interview and find out, what will you do for me? How will you make my business better? What are you watching out for? How well do you know my industry? Not only my industry, but my exact niche in the industry.
Right.
A lot of accountants say, oh, I work with all kinds of real estate investors, and they work with only landlords. And if you're a rehabber or you're a wholesaler, they have no idea what to do with your business. They really don't. And so you need to make sure that they understand the tax laws for your specific niche in your specific business, regardless of what that is.
Absolutely. And actually that ties in nicely, because this month, obviously with the COVID, we're still doing things remotely. So we are going to have, for this month's meeting, Gita Faust, who is a phenomenal resource. While being part of National REIA, she offers her services on a local level to the club, and she's going to be doing a Zoom meeting for us this month, right, Jackie?
Yeah, she'll be Zooming it in, and she's also, she has a contract directly with QuickBooks, so she's able to give us some wonderful discounts.
100%.
They're coming out with some amazing upgrades for the QuickBooks 2021, which isn't out yet, but if you use our discount and get a really good deal on the QuickBooks 2020, you're going to get the upgrade and all the new stuff that comes with the 2021 for free when it hits. So that's pretty cool. But she's going to talk about how, as real estate investors, how we can use the QuickBooks in like how the categories work, and try to give us a little bit of information and a little lesson,
right,
really on how it works. So again, accounting can be boring and dry, but that's where you make your money, right? I mean, well, you've made your money. That's where you keep your money. So giving yourself a little information, enough to be dangerous in this field, so you know how and who to hire in this field, and in bookkeeping and whatever, that background brings you, your CPA and your bookkeeper. It's beneficial.
Absolutely.
So Gita's going to go through some information. There's no charge. All you got to do is sign up for the Zoom. You can find the link at AppletonREIA.com, on our Facebook page, on our Meetup page, wherever you go to get your Appleton REIA information. You can find that link and sign up, and you'll get an email with a direct link to the Zoom on that night, which I believe is Thursday, is the 17th. Right?
Yes,
of September.
Yep,
Thursday, September 17th. And if you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're new and it's already 2021. Who knows? I mean, these are out there, right? So if you're hearing this after September 17th, 2020, you can still go to our page, and we hope to be able to have the Zoom recording on the page. There's no guarantee that this is going to work. I don't have a crystal ball past the 17th to tell us, but that's the goal, is to have this recorded and put it on there. Obviously, if you can attend live, you definitely want to do that.
Right.
You can ask questions and all that stuff. But if not, go back and get this information. It's so important. Mm-hmm. You know, really what you're keeping in your pockets is what matters at the end of the day.
100%. And this is just another benefit of being a member of the Appleton REIA, which is a chapter of National REIA. And that's where Gita comes from. She works with that, and she allows, because they have such a big buying power of all the other investors, they can get these pretty phenomenal discounts on things like QuickBooks and things that we will use in our business. Mm-hmm. And that's just one of the many benefits for this. Again, paying something little to maximize your business and make more money. At the end of the day, it's really a small expense to get some of the great benefits, this included, by being a member of the Appleton REIA. And as Jackie mentioned, AppletonREIA.com to sign up, to get part of the Zoom, and of course to become a member on top of that. So hopefully you want more money in your pockets, because this can definitely help you guys. Hopefully it's been fruitful during this time. Have yourself a great day. We will see you on the Zoom, if not sooner. Otherwise, if you have any questions, reach out to us. You've been listening to the Appleton REIA podcast. This is Dan. She's Jackie. Have yourself a good one.
See ya.
Later.